Hey everybody, this is Safi and Marco Dish Out on the Movies. I'm Marco, and I'm here to talk to you about Extremely Wicked, Shockingly Evil, and Vile, the new Ted Bundy movie on Netflix. Came out last Friday, actually. And just before I start the review, I'd like to ask for you all who are watching this video to subscribe to my channel, well, our channel, to see more content that we release almost on a daily basis now. It would really help out if you would like this video too, and perhaps even comment and give me any suggestions of other things that I should do. So, to begin this review, I'd like to first talk about serial killer movies because they're such a multi-layered genre. You have a couple of parody serial killer movies like Natural Born Killers, where it's all about pointing out things about serial killers, like how the media treats serial killers and particularly their victims. And then the Scream series, of course, and then you have the period in the early 2000s where it seems like every serial killer movie was being made. There are all these direct to DVD, low budget movies, and it's basically a vomit of the Wikipedia page of the serial killer. And in particular, they like to have a lot of shock value, a lot of, really exploitative material in these movies. And it seems like they do it just to cause controversy and to get people to be sick to their stomachs. And I don't like that. I think that serial killer movies don't really serve a purpose anymore because they're all really just the same. They never try to go at any angles that are interesting, and they never try to explore any story details that haven't been explored already. And in this movie in particular, it's based on a book by Liz Collins, Ted Bundy's fiance, girlfriend, whatever you call her. She wrote a book called, I think, The Phantom Stranger, and it's all about her relationship with him and dealing with the accusations made against him in his trials. And I don't think it was a good choice to base the movie off of because I didn't really care for her character. Again, this movie is all about their relationship, supposedly. And for the most part, actually, this movie feels like a courtroom movie. And the stuff with her is really the weakest part because her character isn't very interesting. She doesn't have a lot of depth to her besides she's with him and she works at some place. I can't even remember where she worked. And I hope the book is better than the movie because the movie is very dry and very emotionless. They try to make you emotional at the end when he finally, spoiler alert, admits that he is a killer. But overall, this movie's kind of a disappointment to me. And the biggest reason it's a disappointment is because it's a Netflix movie. I expected to see this movie in theaters, and I think it actually would have been better to watch it in theaters to see other people's reaction. And this movie kind of went for the mainstream narrative once again, and it really didn't add any new details, like I said before. If you read up a lot on Ted Bundy, I'm not saying that he's innocent. He's heavily guilty. He's a horrible person. He was awful. The more you look into him, ugh. But they never show his childhood. They never show how he was found in a Boy Scout tent with the Boy Scout leader, and he was all naked as a kid, and they said, oh, they were just changing together, and then he never wanted to go on any camping trips again after that. I wonder why. And he grew up with an extremely abusive, racist, and sexist sort of stepfather. There was a lot of controversy too about who actually was his mother. There are a lot of rumors that he was born out of incest between his step father and his mother, and very strange backstory. And then you get into the details about him being a Satanist, and you learn about how he had a cave and he liked to perform rituals in the cave and torture women inside there, and all sorts of stuff you could make a movie about. He, as the movie stated, he claimed he was a vampire, which all that has to mean is that he likes drinking blood. And why does he like drinking blood? Well, why can't you do some movie explaining that? Or make something up, or not like make it up, but hash out a theory. Something interesting. I think the best part of this movie is certainly Ted Bundy himself, played by Zac Efron. Quite okay. I think his voice is the only weakness because he doesn't sound like Ted Bundy, but he did a great job in this role. I was really looking forward to every scene he was in, every time he was on. I loved it. And that's this movie kind of explored a social issue, which is that girls tend to go for the more attractive guys, and then the less attractive guys sort of get left by the wayside, and these attractive guys really know how to manipulate, and they know how to be great predators, because this Ted Bundy guy, he had it really easy back in the 70s. He could do whatever he wanted, and he didn't really even have to try. And that's a problem, that they're so trustworthy in him and that he would take advantage of them. And then you had the kid from The Sixth Sense in this movie, and he kind of played the quote other guy. And he was the more unattractive person, and she did not trust him the whole movie. And you could see this. I'm not trying to blame the victims. I'm trying to point out a social issue of this trend of wolves in sheep's clothing. It could happen to guys too. You know, you look at Cardi B, you look at Amber Heard. You know, all the stuff she said she made up. You look at the Andy Signore situation and Screen Junkies, and the same thing could happen to guys. But this movie more explored the latter, the other one. And so this movie, I would say it's pretty good. I would recommend it just for Zac Efron's performance. But if you're looking for something really, really entertaining and, you know, doing something new with serial killer movies, this isn't it. I give this movie salmon with white rice and butter and broccoli, and that's it. Oh, and for a side, a glass of tap water. So the salmon represents Ted Bundy, and which is bad because when you think about Ted Bundy, he's supposed to be good on the outside and bad on the inside. And with the salmon, he's good all the way around. It's almost like this movie doesn't want to portray Ted Bundy as a bad guy. And I found that highly problematic, especially because they had two nude scenes that were highly unnecessary. And then the white rice with butter, the rice represents Lily Collins, or whatever her name is, the love interest. She was really bland, but when you add butter, you get something good to eat, and she's really pretty to look at. So, you know, that's just something right there. And I really liked how she changed in the end and got over him. But really, there was nothing to her. And I didn't feel like this movie fully explored, quote, their relationship, quote, because most of the movie was about his trials and how the police sort of helped him escape twice or three times. And then you have the broccoli. And I think the broccoli represents sort of the writing, in particular the way that they don't show hardly any violence in this movie at all. I love that because a lot of these serial killer movies have needless violence and needless rape and whatever, and this movie did not have that, and I love that. And then lastly, you have a glass of tap water, and that is the direction of this movie and the filter. Whenever historical movies are made nowadays, I'm noticing that they have a filter over them, and it's the same filter too. It always looks the same. It looks dull and sort of orangey, and this movie had that. And I'm sick of historical movies having that filter in it. And also, the direction was very boring. There was nothing really great about the direction of this movie. Zac Efron basically did this movie himself. And then John Malkovich did really good. He was my favorite other actor in this movie besides Zac Efron. So, that's it. Please subscribe to our channel. Look out for Cobra Kai Season 2, the Tale Teller book review by Safi, and then other things that I'll be reviewing, and that she'll be reviewing too. Goodbye, everybody!